Hi class, so let's continue on the axial skeleton. So in this video we will discuss the thorax and we will discuss the vertebrates. So here's the cartilage, that part of the thoracic cage. So the thorax comprised of 24 ribs. So there's like 12 ribs on one side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8, 9, 10, and then there's last 2, 11, and 12. So the first 7 ribs, and please pay close attention to the cartilage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7th, right? I cannot separately highlight it, but this is the rib number 7. So if you follow the cartilage, right, it connects to this costal rib. So this cartilage, or this 7th rib, is directly connected to the sternum. The first 7 ribs are directly connected to the sternum. So this is a sternum, has 3 parts. So this upper portion is called Manubrium. This middle portion is called the body, and this inferior portion, so this highlighted in purple, is the Manubrium. The anterior surface of the Manubrium of the sternum provides an origin site for the pectoralis major muscles and the sternal head of the sternocleidomastoid muscles. So the pectoralis major muscles and the sternocleidomastoid muscles are attached to this body part. So the body of the sternum, or the anterior surface of the body of the sternum, provides an origin site for also pectoralis major muscles, attachment, and the site of sternocostal ligaments. So you see this fossa, so this slight protrusion, invagination, that's where there's articulation of those costal cartilages. Like you see this costal cartilages. So it's basically the rib, then it's a cartilage, and then it's a bone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the first 7 ribs are attached directly to the sternum. So that's why we call those first 7 ribs are the true ribs. And the other following ribs, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, we call them false ribs. So you see the 7th rib connected to the cartilage, and then this cartilage connected to the sternum. So the rib number 8 also connected to the sternum, but through the cartilage, right? So it connects like that and through the cartilage. And then rib number 9 and 10, 8, 9, and 10, all connected to the sternum through this cartilage. So, but they not directly connected, they connected to this cartilage that directly connected to the sternum. So the rib number 8, 9, and 10, we call them a false ribs. And the last 2, 11 and 12, are also false ribs, but there's another name for them, floating ribs, so because they float in the space. So they are not connected anteriorly to the sternum, but they connected posteriorly to a spinal column, to the vertebrates. So if we look at the posterior side, or through the dorsal side, all of the costal ribs posteriorly connected to the vertebrates. And all of them except those last 2, 11 and 12, that we call floating ribs, are not connected to the sternum. So then another part of the sternum is called Xyphoid Process. So this is the insertion site for the rectus abdominis muscles and the attachment site for the sternocostal ligaments. I just gonna quickly add the muscle here. So you see this ligamentous tissue is called linea alba connected to a xyphoid process and connected to a pubic region. That's where the pubic symphysis. So here's the pubic symphysis. So these are the rectus abdominis muscles that are also connected to the ribs. And the posterior side of the xyphoid process provide an origin site for the diaphragm and attachment site for sternocostal ligaments. So the xyphoid process is very important because the diaphragm that separates thoracic cavity from the abdominal cavity, so the diaphragm muscle that also helps for us to breathe in and breathe out, so there is attachment site for the diaphragm. So this most superior or superficial part is called superior border of the Manubrium sternum, right? So you can use your finger and put it right here, right, in this region, and you can actually palpate this notch. So this notch is called jugular notch. So if we compare ribs one to another, they kind of different. So they have different size, slightly different shape. So this part called facets. So these facets articulate with vertebrates. So each vertebrate is also facets. So these facets on the body of the vertebrate articulates with the ribs, with the costal ribs in this region. In the vertebrate, so there could be superior facet and inferior facet. So another important landmark, this is a neck of the rib, this is a body of the rib, and this is a costal end of the rib. And here at this region, that's where this hyaline cartilage will be attached to. So these are the transverse processes, and this is a spinous process. Spinal, dorsal, and these are the transverse processes, lateral sides. So, and within this transverse processes, this facet articulates with the rib, with the neck of the rib. When you look at the vertebrate, these facets have their specific names. Not that important, but this is called superior costal facet for the costal rib, and this is called obviously inferior costal facet. So because one rib would be connected here, another rib could be connected there. So when you're holding a rib in your hand and you want to be able to identify if it's a left rib or the right rib, what you have to look at basically at these projections, right? Something that is sticking out right here. So, and that kind of pointing down. So if it's pointing down, that you know that you're holding a rib in the particular wave, that when it points down and it arches this way, that most likely should be from the right side of the body. So this part in particular, so where the facet is called tubercle. So the tubercle is kind of like a projection or the elevation, or another name is like a prominence on the external surface of the junction between its neck and the body. So it's basically only the ribs from 1 to 10 has this type of a projection tubercle, because the rib number 11, rib number 12 are floating ribs. So that's basically everything about the thorax.